Hi, Savvy Sales subscribers. We've all been there. We finally find out who the right decision maker is, only to discover he's 3,000 miles away from you, right? And every attempt you've made to email and phone call and try to contact him has been blocked. Or you've been redirected to a lesser decision maker on the corporate ladder. If you didn't see my last video, Are You Talking to the Right Decision Maker? Watch it, then come back and watch this one. In this video, you're gonna learn what to do if you're being blocked. So keep watching. Harrington, the Savvy Sales Lady, your personal YouTube sales coach, helping you to become sales savvy so you can prosper and you can help your clients prosper too. Now, here are 3 ways to handle being blocked. As I've said many times before, the obvious is often overlooked. The obvious in this case is understanding why. Many times, well-meaning salespeople, maybe you, have never asked the question, why am I being blocked? Most never consider the why. And then my next question is, how are you being blocked? I hear things like, the sales manager wants to handle everything, or they have a long-term relationship with their current vendor, or one of my clients said to me, I was told this person was the right decision maker for me to talk to, but I don't know how they could be because they're just in middle management. Or I often hear this one from my clients, we're just not the preferred vendor. Let's connect the dots with these responses I just gave you. They all have a common thread. Can you see it? The common thread is that every single person that made those responses see your proposal as a lose. And now your job is to find out why they have this perception of losing by doing business with you. People will not advance your proposal if they don't have a personal win for themselves. This is often overlooked. Yeah, politics can be at play here. Here's a personal story to illustrate my point. For 6 months, my efforts for getting in front of the decision maker was going nowhere fast. I was prospecting a major airlines, and at every opportunity, I was getting derailed in the process. Over the 6 months, I worked on developing a relationship with the VP of benefits for this airlines, as well as trying to develop a working relationship with the insurance broker that handled the group benefits. The airline's main focus was keeping the pilots and the pilot union happy. Although I was making great progress with the VP of the airlines, I was getting nowhere with the broker who was 2,000 miles away from me. Months of calling and leaving messages, sending emails that were going unanswered, just trying different ways to develop a relationship with the broker. Everything was going unanswered. I discovered, though, 2 key blocks. The first one was the broker had a personal relationship with the current vendor. The second block was years ago, at one time, the company I represented had this airlines, and they left my company because of a claim dispute by one of the pilots. So I had to make a decision. If I continued to try to work through the broker, I was never going to get anywhere. So instead, I set my sights on developing even a deeper relationship with the VP of the airlines. I did go around the broker, but I was invited to the final presentation with the airlines. Even though I didn't win the sale the first time around because of the claim situation from 5 years prior, I did get a seat at the table for the next go-around. The VP assured me that she would continue to work with me. I had established myself and I didn't have to jump through the hoops again. Here's the lesson. The broker was the block. She was never going to work with me because she was never going to sever the personal relationship she had with the current vendor, even though we were the better vendor and we were the better choice. But there was a risk, and the risk was I had burnt my bridge with that broker. I weighed the pros and cons before I did it, and the chances of me ever working with her again was slim to none because she was the only broker on that particular case in my prospecting list. So I made the decision to develop the relationship with the prospect, and I'm glad I did. When you determine why the blocker is losing, you can handle it in 3 ways. Strategy number 1 is show the broker how to win. This is by far the best strategy and the one you should start with first. When the blocker feels like she may lose or he may lose, just help change their perspective from losing to winning. Show him how he can personally win because he is still a valuable part of the sales process. He can introduce you to the decision maker and it makes him the hero. If you can show him that you have something that the decision maker needs and wants, and tell him, he'll get the credit and the recognition. When you bring value to the blocker, he'll convert the loss perception to a win perception. Your goal is to help the blocker see his value, his foresight, to introduce you to the decision maker. Strategy number 2 is getting around the blocker. This is what I ultimately did with the airlines. I went around the broker and went directly to the airlines. I tried everything to turn that loss into a win for the broker, but the reality was she was never going to sever her relationship with the current vendor. I knew that. As I said earlier, the warning when you go around the blocker is you've burnt your bridge ever developing a relationship with that person. So you really do have to weigh the pros and cons of going around the blocker. Strategy number 3, lose the business by accepting the block. Now, before you go, say, what, Christine? You want me to walk away from the sale? Sometimes it might be smart business to do that. Here's another personal story to illustrate that point. It was the end of the year, and my prospect was not only trying to meet the goals of his company, but they were also going through a major system conversion. It was taking up a lot of my prospect's precious time. He told me although he preferred the company I represented benefits package, it was just the wrong time to change vendors with all of this going on. Now, I could have pushed and gone around him and went right to his boss. I am fairly certain his boss would have went with us. But in that situation, I was looking long term. I could really grow with this prospect. My relationship with this prospect was solid, and I was certain that when next year came around, I would be given the opportunity and more than likely the sale. And that's exactly what happened. I waited a year, but in the long-term success, it was a better deal because they bought even more products down the road. Always weigh the immediate sale versus the long-term success of the business relationship. Now, if you're going to try these tips, will you give me a thumbs up? And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, I want to invite you to do so and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you'll be alerted every time I upload a video. But remember this, sales is a journey. It's not a quick trip around the block. See you on the next video.